We had, for some reason, I started working kind of crazy hours, and I would stay connected to work from very early in the morning to very late at night. So it was very hard to step back and kind of regain my time.
How to be a really effective worker while balancing the needs of children and spouses and older parents.
We're working from home until further notice. And it was like, how is this going to be sustainable? And it became basically a 12-hour workday because all of the time that I was taking during the day to attend to the girls, I had to make up on the back end.
When you are working and have deadlines and are relying on that income to support those kids, it's difficult when all of a sudden school closes or you're now responsible for being a teacher, all of a sudden daycare closes. You don't have the support.
It was really hard to, be within these four walls wearing my work hat and my mom hat.
Well, I think homeschooling my 8-year-old was probably the most challenging and frustrating thing that I've been through as a human. I had to work beyond about 8 to 10 Zoom calls a day and also help her with her Zoom calls. And her computer wouldn't work and she didn't understand. And I had a baby downstairs and I had never felt the anxiety of not being able to help and also not seeing a light of how this was going to get better.
It was having my son at home, and so my husband and I were both working from home, having to pay attention to him whenever he needed something and having to be on work calls at the same time.
I think the feeling that somehow we should be able to do it all. I think my friends and I have talked about it so much, like we're educated enough, we're intelligent enough, we're confident enough in our parenting to know that it shouldn't be possible to do everything we were doing before COVID, plus bringing our kids home and giving them a fulfilling experience, but we still all tried. And I think that was, it sort of just put you on the burnout train from the very beginning because we were just trying so hard to make it all work.
I think some of the most challenging aspects of this time, obviously, is just juggling so much and managing mental health at the same time.
There's a feeling of loneliness where I'm coming back from my maternity leave and I was excited to come back to the office and see the people that I work with every day who've become my friends. And there's that disconnect where, you have to actively reach out, ping people, set up web meetings so you can connect with them, where it's not that natural bumping into you while you're getting water or putting your lunch away kind of feeling that you get in the office. And I think that has surprised me in how disconnected it's made me feel.
And I was able to separate those two parts of my life. I was able to separate my motherhood from my working position. And now, unfortunately, they're sometimes at conflict.
I would say it's the first time where I really felt super constrained in terms of the support that I had from a family and friend perspective, just because of the unknown of COVID and not wanting to have people in your home or put your family at risk. And so it really became a challenge, and also not knowing how long it was going to go on for.
And striking that right balance between showing up at work and being that kind of type A overachiever, drop everything because my client calls type of mentality, and shifting a bit to be able to better support my kids.
Or is it safer to receive packages? Do we have to wipe everything down? And how diligent do we need to be about that? A lot of just trying to understand what to do to keep everybody safe. And try to make the right choices given the bits and pieces of information we had at the time.
So we not only had to perform as, a parent, but also had to be the teacher for my child, as well as the daycare provider for my child, as well as be working professional. So balancing all those three was is still a pretty tough job.
It was just overwhelming, and I'm a person who's very organized, and I have lists, and I'm a planner, and just not knowing what was going to happen and not being able to plan anything because my life was basically in everybody else's hands, with school and work and everything, that it was just the feeling of just being completely overwhelmed.
I was very trying to limit her screen time as much as possible, and my husband is an essential worker, and so I was home with her and doing my full-time job.
The most challenging aspect this past year has been the lack of separation between work and home life. I never thought I would say I miss my commute to work, and just having that time to breathe and separate the two is something that I miss.